Hi, welcome to Black Cat Divination. In this video we are going to explore the ship card in the Lenormand fortune telling deck. We're going to combine the ship card with all of the other 35 cards and determine how these affect one another in a reading. The deck that I'm using is the Under the Roses deck, Lenormand deck that I received yesterday in the mail. This is a really nice deck. I recommend it if you're looking for a nice one that has really nice art, really clear pictures. Has the names of the card on the bottom. I am getting my information for this combination video from the cafelenormand.com site. It's a really nice, easy to use site, especially for beginners like myself. As I've stated in the other videos, I'll state again real quick. I am a beginner myself. I'm learning the cards. This is a really good way for me to start to feel comfortable with the meaning of these cards, is to share what I'm learning in a video, to act as a teacher. So that's what I'm doing. I hope these videos are as helpful to you as they are to me. All right, let's get going. Before we start, let me go ahead and put this card away so we're not distracted. We're focusing on the ship. And before we start, let's get comfortable with the keywords for the ship. So when this comes up in a reading, this represents travel. That seems obvious, right? This also represents business. It could be foreign or international. It could be moving vehicles. This could represent the Navy. Also export, import. It could represent something near the sea, near the ocean. It could represent long distance. One of the keywords on this list is putting your eggs in one basket. I'm not really sure where that comes from, to be honest with you. And frankly, that, unless, if somebody sees this video and can explain to me why that would be a keyword for the ship, I would really appreciate that. Putting your eggs in one basket. I don't think I'll use that keyword in a reading just simply because it just doesn't make sense to me. This could represent wealth acquired through inheritance or commerce. That makes sense to some degree. Okay, let's get started with the meanings. I'm going to try to do this all in one shot without chopping my video into two. I think I can get through it quickly enough so that I don't run out of memory on my phone. Here we go. If you combine the ship with the rider, the ship and the rider represent a trip with a young man, because the rider can represent a young man. It could represent an adventure trip, or it could represent a distant message. Remember, the rider represents incoming news or messages, so this could represent a distant message. The ship card with the clover, this is a positive trip, or it could be an unexpected trip. The ship card with the house, this is a change of residence, or if you're reading cards literally, this could be a houseboat. Combining the ship with the tree, this could be a trip to a spiritual retreat. This could also represent motion sickness, since the tree is a representation of health. If the ship shows up with the clouds, this is an uncertain trip. Maybe it's a trip where maybe you're going to like a family reunion and you're wondering like, oh gosh, I don't get along with so-and-so and so-and-so. So you're uncertain how the trip will pan out, but it is a trip with uncertainties. It could also represent literally a storm at sea. Maybe you're going on a cruise and this combination shows up in a reading. Maybe you avoid that cruise. I think I might consider avoiding a cruise if that reading came up. If you get the ship in combination with the snake, this trip has problems. There's something about the trip that you can't trust. Maybe you got an offer of some kind of like, I don't know, something that you're going to do during the trip that is like, feels like it's too good to be true or something. I don't know. This could also represent a foreign woman. Remember, the snake card can represent another woman in a reading, so it could be a foreign woman. If you get the ship with the grave or the coffin, this is a canceled trip. The trip's not going to happen. or it could represent an unpleasant trip. If you get the ship with the bouquet, this is a happy trip. This could be a travel upgrade. You get to the airport, they had to maybe postpone your flight, and they've got some open spaces in first class, and they upgrade your trip because they've inconvenienced you. That could represent that, I suppose. That'd be awesome, huh? If you get the ship in combination with the sickle or the scythe, it's a sickle in this deck, it's a scythe in other decks. This could be a sudden trip. Remember, the sickle or scythe can represent fast movement, fast change, sudden change. Or this could also be a canceled trip, like the same with the coffin. This could be a canceled trip because remember, the sickle is a cutting away of something. So maybe you had to cancel the trip. The ship with the whip. The ship with the whip is a disputed trip. Maybe you can't decide where you want to go. You can't decide on the destination. You're having disputes about the reservations you're making. This could be an exhausting trip. Remember, the whip can represent pain, exhaustion, misery. It's an exhausting trip. It's one of those trips where you're really glad when you get home. This could be a trip of adventure. The whip can represent sexy, something sexy. So this could be an adventurous trip. Maybe one that involves sports or physical activity. But when I look at the whip, I don't think of sports or physical activity necessarily, but other people may. That's one of the suggestions on the website. If you get the ship in combination with the birds or the owls, this is travel by plane. They fly, so that makes sense. Travel by plane, although that might be a little confusing. But if you're using this as just a travel card rather than like a boat, and then you get the owls, that could be plane travel. This could represent tourists, because these two individuals on this card might be from overseas. It could be represent people from another place, or it could be a couple that is a foreign couple. You get the ship with the child. There are two children in this deck, so I'll show both of them. If you get the ship with the child, this could be a short trip, or it could literally be traveling with children. A short trip or traveling with children. The ship plus the fox. If you get the ship plus the fox, this trip needs further research. Maybe you need to look into what the weather's going to be like at your destination location. Maybe you need to double check your reservations. There's something else that needs to be done in order to make this a smooth trip. And then it could also, it says this trip requires cunning. So you just need to be on your toes. You need to make sure you've dotted all your I's and crossed all your T's before you go on this trip. The ship in combination with the bear. This represents a successful financial investment. Remember, the ship can represent like commerce and business. So this is a successful financial investment. It could be receiving a lot of money, because the ship represents movement, so this is movement of money, receiving a lot of money. It could also represent foreign currency. Remember, the bear represents possessions and value and worth. The ship in combination with the stars. This is a positive trip. This could represent the space shuttle. The ship in combination with the stork. This is representing movement. Remember, the stork can represent a sudden change or movement. This could also represent a change of travel plans. So maybe you were going to go on this date and you discover that they're, experiencing some nasty weather, so you're going to postpone the trip till it's a better situation for your plans. The ship in combination with the dog. This is traveling with a friend. This could be a tour guide, someone who's helping you with your trip. This could be a friend from another country. The ship in combination with the clock tower or the tower. This could be a foreign corporation, company from overseas. This could be foreign government. This could also represent traveling by yourself. Please remember the tower sometimes represents solitude, so traveling by yourself. The ship in combination with the garden. This could be a trip with a group of people. This could be going someplace that is known for being really lush and green. Maybe you're going to visit Hawaii, or maybe you're going to Ireland. Maybe you're doing maybe it's like a camping trip. You're going to be outdoors. The ship in combination with the mountain. This is travel delays. You might experience some travel delays, so just be prepared for that if you see that in your reading. The ship in combination with the crossroads. This is multiple trips, or maybe there's a couple of stops, a couple of different stops along the way in this trip. This could be a change of travel plans. The ship in combination with the mice. This is going to be a stressful trip. It could be expensive. Remember, the mice represent loss and destruction, so there might be, maybe you're going to lose some luggage along the way, and you have to, replace some items that were in your suitcase. So this could be an expensive trip. It could represent loss or theft during the trip, losing luggage, or maybe you get pickpocketed or something nasty like that. The ship in combination with the locket, in this case it's the heart. In other decks, the ship with the heart could represent a honeymoon, or it could just be a romantic trip. It could represent a foreign lover. The ship in combination with the ring. This could be a long distance relationship. This could also be international contracts, because remember, the ring represents contracts and agreements. International contracts and agreements, long distance relationship. The ship in combination with the journal or the book in other decks. The ship with the book is studying abroad. And this could represent actual researching your trip. Doing your homework before you leave, making sure that you, again, have all your I's dotted, your T's crossed before you leave. The ship in combination with the letter. This could represent the documentation that you need for a trip, like a plane ticket or your reservation documents. And this could be international mail. This could be mail coming from overseas. This could also represent a pen pal. Long distance correspondent. The ship in combination with the gentleman. This could represent a foreigner. This could represent someone who works in the travel industry. It could also literally mean, if you're describing the man, it could mean somebody who works on a ship. Like maybe he's the ship captain, maybe he's working in the restaurant, maybe he's, someone who works on a boat, on a ship. The ship in combination with the woman is going to be the same type of thing. This is a foreign woman. She could be connected with the ship in some way as far as employment goes. And then she could also be someone who works in the travel industry. If you get the ship in combination with the lily, this might be a long trip. This could represent a very peaceful trip. Peaceful or long trip. The ship in combination with the sun, this could be a summer vacation. This could be a trip to someplace warm. The sun also represents success and happiness, so this is going to be a successful trip. This is going to be a trip that is without complications, making the vacation extremely enjoyable. The ship in combination with the moon, this could be a honeymoon. This is a positive trip. This could be dreaming about just getting away on a vacation. It's on your mind, you need a break, you're dreaming about it. The ship in combination with the key, this is a successful trip. Kind of like getting the sun card. This is a trip that is without complications. Everything works out great. This could also be a very significant trip. Remember, the key is a significant, represents something significant in someone's life. This could be a significant trip. Maybe it's a life-changing trip. The ship in combination with the fish. This could be a fishing boat. This could be money coming in. Remember, the ship represents movement, so this represents money, so this could be money coming in. Or it could be a business trip. The ship in combination with the anchor. This is reaching your destination. This is a long trip. And it's a safe trip. All of those things could apply here. This could be that your anchor has dropped and you are where you need to be. Then the ship with the cross, the last card. This is going to be a strained trip. This is going to be a trip that encounters difficulties. There could be some pain or burdens along with the trip. Maybe, maybe there's just so many problems that it's just like, it doesn't even feel like a vacation anymore. You just want to get home. So this is not a good trip. But this could also, if you are reading this card as a spiritual card, this could be a religious pilgrimage. Maybe you're heading to Israel. Maybe you're heading to Israel to see or maybe you're heading to Rome to go visit the Vatican. So this could be something like a religious pilgrimage. That covers all the cards for the ship. My next one will be the, I think it's the card number 4 is the house, yeah. So I think this is still filming. It is good. Didn't get cut off. I really appreciate you watching. I hope that this helped you with your combinations. One thing that I'm learning too, because I've been practicing with readings as well, the description that you come up with in a reading is heavily dependent on the flavor of the rest of the reading. So, and then, one thing too, don't be afraid, and this is one thing I'm having to get comfortable with too, don't be afraid of bringing in your own meanings. Now, we have some basic suggestions from our website. I'm getting a book too that will also give some suggestions. But when you see a ship, what do you think of? And then when you see a ship in combination with something, what do you think of? What pops into your head, especially given the way the rest of the reading is going, and you can really bring in some intuitive ideas of how these cards go together based on your querent and the situation, the way the rest of the reading is going. So I think that might be the trick to becoming comfortable with these cards, is being comfortable with your own intuition. And given the background of what you've learned, well, saying you, but I mean myself as well, obviously, because I'm learning too. Given the information you've learned, and then looking at the context of the reading, how can you best decipher these combinations? I don't want to ramble too long, because I know if I do, I'll get cut off. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this video. Again, I said it already. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Brand new channel for me. I am working